Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maya Dynamics with your lead instructor, Mr. Paul Campbell. Hey, Paul.
Howdy.
Howdy. Also joining us, we have the lovely Nina Covington.
Hello.
And Nina will be helping today as a TA, assisting Mr. Campbell with questions that will be coming in. So first thing I'd like to talk about is questions. When asking questions, for those of you in BuzzNet, which I can flip over to that screen real quick. There we go. Please keep in mind that if you post questions over in BuzzNet, there is no guarantee that we're going to see it because we don't generally monitor it carefully. There's very few people that are over here right now, and there's a few more over in just the webinar. So feel free to join us over in buzznet.3dbuzz.com. All you need to do is jump in using your regular 3D Buzz credentials, and then you will be in the classroom. And hi, everyone, now that we got some haze coming in. And Nina, they said your name is cool.
Thank you.
I think so, too.
I like it.
So anyways, when asking questions, please put those in the webinar questions panel. And Nina has that on her own monitor over here, and she's able to keep track of questions that are asked and insert them at the right moment for Mr. Campbell to answer. So one other thing I'd like to point out real quick, since there are a couple of names in the attendance list that I have that's new to me, I just want to remind everybody how the class system works right now. The new 3D Buzz website is getting really close. All of the infrastructure is pretty much complete, and it's a matter of aesthetics, and it is in beta testing right now. The new site has been designed with the concept of online live classes, so you have a student dashboard with a lot of features, and everything's just in one place, and it makes a lot of sense. Most of you guys already know with the current 3D Buzz, which is a site that's outdated by years now, and we know that, and the new one's almost done. But for live classes, unfortunately, it was more or less bolted on at the end, but I do want to point this out. Go to the live classes link, and from the live classes link, you have your calendar. And everyone that's in the class already knows this because you've gone and registered. But as we have classes that show up, this is where they show up. But the most important thing to know, since you do know this page exists, is later today, this video that's being recorded right now of the class session is going to be encoded, uploaded, and you'll be able to come in here for the 25th. Simply click on that page right there, and what will happen is you're going to get a new link that's going to show up. Actually, you're going to get two. One is going to be your homework link that will take you to a thread with the homework that's required for this week, and the other link is going to be a link for the video. For example, if we take a look at last night Thomas Dodd's class, the homework link still needs to go in there, but the watch video is already there, so you can just simply click on that, and that's where you'll gain access to the video. And the video should be up within a couple of hours after class is over tonight. So I just wanted to point that out. Again, once the new website goes live, you won't have to worry about a calendar and go into weird places. You'll just go to your student dashboard because it'll have all the classes that you're enrolled in. It'll make life a lot easier. So that's pretty much what I wanted to point out there, and make sure that hey, a few more people have joined us over in BuzzNet. Awesome. Make sure you join over in BuzzNet. Just once again, it's a place where everybody can come in and communicate with one another. When the new 3D Buzz site is done, the next revision that'll be added into the student dashboard will be BuzzNet itself, so it'll become interactive with the class. So that's going to be really cool. But with that, let me go ahead and switch over to Paul's screen. And so here we go, right. Paul, making presenter. Yes, and here he comes.
Show my screen.
And as you guys know,
success.
It's success. You are in the Maya Dynamics class. So if you thought you were here to learn how to make ice cream, you're in the wrong virtual room. All right.
All right, I'll take it over. Thank
Awesome.
you so much, Jason.
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome to Maya Dynamics. My name is Paul Campbell. I'll be your instructor for the next 6 weeks. And today will be the one and only class that we will not be focusing on dynamics, but we were going to spend some time working on cameras and looking at other people's camera work. And let's see, to introduce myself, let me see if I can drag over my personal IMDb page. So this is me listed on IMDb, some of the feature films that I've worked on in the past, and I've done lots of television and commercial work that is not listed, but just wanted to drag that over and introduce myself and a little bit of my credentials to you guys. And I'm excited for this class. I have a good time. I enjoy dynamics personally, and I'm glad to be here teaching it with you guys.
Awesome.
All right. Let's see. Okay, I've got my 3D, my BuzzNet up, so I'll be watching. If you guys do happen to send questions through BuzzNet, I'll be keeping a corner of my eye on that as well. And if I miss any or questions coming through the webinar, I know Nina will step up and help me out.
Sure will.
All right. So, great. Thank you, Nina. And then Nina, after class, we'll talk to you about getting the homework assignment handed off and those kinds of things to everyone.
Woo! All
right. Well, here we go. So let's just start talking about cameras. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my Maya and pull up some work that has been that we see in feature films, and the kind of what camera moves are we used to, and just talk about that kind of work. So first off, just to briefly lecture. One of the telltale signs of a rookie 3D artist or a student that's going through classes and trying to learn is their cameras are very shaky, or they move very fast, very quick, and just look unprofessional. And so I've grabbed several examples of some clips that I think just show that, hey, this is what we are used to seeing as viewers of feature films. For example, this first one is the opening sequence to Panic Room, and just showing that there's not any zooming cameras, nothing's moving really fast. And hopefully this is coming through the screen capture. I assume it's coming through well. Please speak up if it is not.
It's a little choppy. I'm sure its mileage will vary. If you shrink the size of it down, of course, that'll also speed it up some.
Work a little better.
Yeah, just so there's less pixels.
Does that improve it?
Yep. I mean, that almost doubled the frame rate.
Okay, great, good. Thank you for that feedback. I needed that. Okay, yeah. So these are just real, showing how a real slow, pans and dollies and things like this will show the mark of a nice looking camera. So we're going to be working on dynamics as we move forward in this class, but we're going to also make our work look professional by putting good cameras on top of our dynamics works that we'll be doing. All right, so yeah, here's some. We've seen these real simple ones, kind of mostly moving up architecture, things like this, and this is coming from the movie Panic Room. Next, we're going to look at a clip from Children of Men, where it's more of a handheld feel. So I'll take a moment for me to get it where we can view it well. Just 1 second.
Yeah, I'd actually go ahead and bring the size down even further. And
even further, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, it helps more, definitely.
Okay, good. Thank you for that feedback.
Yes, sir.
So here we're getting to more of a handheld feel, and there's some tools inside of our camera that will help give us a little bit of a. This isn't necessarily a shaky cam, but we can get there. Let me see if we can get to where they're walking out of the building. This is more of a slower, longer, dramatic shot. I'm dragging it forward if you're experiencing lots of skipping. So here's the kind of stuff we're used to seeing when we're sitting in on a feature film, and the camera's moving slow and easy, staying on our subject matter. There's nothing zooming around. There's no stuff flying by. And here's the shot that I wanted. As we're walking down with all these soldiers around us. And I'll start talking to you about the next one. Okay, here we go. The next clip is from a short called Ruin, but I would really recommend that everyone just take the time to go watch the whole piece themselves. It's really impressive, and I'll load it up, and I'll have to rescaling things again. But
yeah, I've not seen it, so let me jot that down. I want to make sure I check it out.
Yeah, it is fabulous, and in fact, it's one of the few shorts that was entirely modeled and rendered in Modo. You won't see many
really
things, rendered out of Modo. They did all this
Wow.
plant work in Moto, but they animated their stuff in Lightwave. They're on Vimeo if that helps you
Very cool. Yes.
find it.
Yeah, man, that
So
looks
yeah, I mean, here's just a
gorgeous.
wonderful, wonderful, dramatic, camera move, nice, slow, steady pace, and the camera work in here is to me, is so strong that it itself is a character when you think about it. What they do with their camera work as we get into the story. So I'm gonna be dragging through it. We'll be skipping. I'll be dragging through to kind of get to some clips to show you the good work that they do in this movie or short, excuse me. So nice slow movements, cameras on paths and things, getting their target lined up. And here in just a second, he's about to start running, just how they use the camera as he's running along.
Yeah, cameras really are a way of identifying a beginner quickly when watching something that's been rendered out. I mean, I've worked with students for
Absolutely.
so many years, and I've worked with students that were excellent with animation, lighting, that were great modelers. But then once they put together some sort of small short, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you can quickly make the whole thing look very amateurish with bad camera work.
Absolutely. I'm going to see if I can move forward to another great shot. So yeah, wonderful job here of just keeping our camera centered and letting the action move in and out of frame. This is great composition.
Is this entire thing CG?
Yes, this is a CG spot. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch it for yourself. It's very
Wow.
amazing.
I mean, I obviously with the character and some of the props, I mean, you can tell, but man, some of the landscape stuff is amazing.
That's what I was going to say. Something, and it's just a side note outside of talking about cameras, but all the foliage that's everywhere. If you've ever tried to render foliage out of Maya or similar packages, it is quite the challenge.
Yes, it
And
is.
somehow this guy was able to figure out a way to get it out of Modo in a very good fashion.
Wow. Does he have
So
any
I wanted
sort
you
of?
guys to see.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ask your question. We've got time.
I was just going to ask: does he have any sort of? Have there been any interviews done with the people that worked on this?
I've seen some articles, but I haven't seen any in-person interviews. But yeah, there's plenty of content.
Sweet.
If you go to his Vimeo page and just start Googling Ruin, it hit like CG Talk, CG Society,
Yeah.
all those sites a couple months back.
Okay.
Maybe 6 months or less. It's been
Okay.
around.
And thank you
So
very
about to go
much,
in
Marilyn. She posted the link over in BuzzNet.
Oh,
Fantastic.
wonderful! Thank you. So we're going to go inside of a tunnel, and I just again really, I mean, this camera work. This camera work takes you from amateur to absolute feature film feel.
Yeah.
Like this feels like Terminator or something like that, some proper movie.
Except in Terminator 2 when they were rushing through all of the drainage areas, it didn't quite look this sexy.
This is true. So I really love this shot. Just wonderful, wonderful feeling where we're zooming by stuff inside of the tunnel. All right. So yes, go check out Ruin.
Will
Let's
do.
keep going. And I would like to sit and watch the rest of it, but let's move along. Okay, a classic opening scene that we all know very well. And so what helps this feel epic? I'm just stretch the screen a little bit. Let me know if the frame rate's okay.
It'll work.
The opening.
Yeah, I think everybody will. Well, plus, since we've all seen it, and if you've not
We all have
seen
it
this.
memorized.
Yeah,
anyways.
exactly.
All right. So, what helps this shot succeed is that we have the scale of this ship overhead, the scale of the planet. It's, it's humongous compared to our point of view. And so really, really nailing scale down will really help the experience as a viewer. And again, the planet still is huge.
Absolutely.
And the ship is huge in these shots. Okay. Oh, we just jumped to the next shot. I wasn't ready for it, but let's get it going. Okay. I'm going to scale back down and try to fast forward to a wonderful shot that really communicates,
Cool.
All right. So now let's go on to, let's open up Maya and just look at what it takes to kind of make these real simple, these cameras. A lot of times people start trying to keyframe things and it gets real complicated. But let's just do some real simple camera creation. And yeah, Jason, this is a little bit off topic, but you mentioned about interact.
Mm-hmm.
Making this more interactive for the students. So if something pops up in your mind, do suggest it.
For those of you guys that are out there, while Paul's going forward, if you don't mind answering over in BuzzNet, do you have Maya, and do you have Maya up and running?
I'll watch for that.
Yes, interaction, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some stuff
Woohoo!
going.
Everybody's alive.
All right.
All right. Well, let's just kind of step through together. Although I can't see your scenes, you can see mine. Let's all crack open a scene. If you're is that asking too much for people to follow along and to?
No, not at all.
It's great. So yeah, let's crack open a Maya scene, drop in a ground plane, and just throw in some dummy buildings similar to what I've got here, and make yourself a camera, and then we'll start animating and keyframing this camera right up.
Awesome. You guys have 12 seconds. Go! Oh, the good old days of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I like Paul. He reminds me of me. Throws in his own music tracks when need be. It's great.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, I'm sure I will be mumbling to myself and talking under my breath at some point.
Yep, sounds like me again. Oh, Chris. Maya opened and crashed. Good times. I'm sorry, man.
Ooh. Oh. And I am using, it won't apply to today necessarily, but through this course I will be sticking with my 2012.
Okay.
I'll put that in the
I just oh yeah, and for those of you that don't know, the using Maya 2012 over inside BuzzNet, that line that just came in, that's Mr. Paul right there.
Correct.
How do you pronounce that? Football?
Football.
Yep.
Yes, the word soccer in Spanish, if you will.
Oh, cool.
And I did appreciate Tyler Campbell's. He and I sharing the same last name earlier. Excellent.
Oh, nice. That's true.
All right. Well, I don't know if I should wait a little bit longer or just dive right in.
They're just making boxes, guys. If you're still in the middle of making those boxes, you should be done by now. Just go ahead and watch the screen for a minute. Good. We've got people ready. Thank you, Mr. Richards.
Good. Okay. Well, let's start with just doing real simple. So as you're, if you're still making your boxes, continue doing that, and then we'll, follow along, catch up with what you're hearing and watching. So just real quick, let me. Ooh, I can't reach my split screen button. Let's animate this camera. So we're gonna first let me look through selected and see how my composition is. Cool. Thanks for your feedback on buzzing. Okay, so let me get this camera situated how we like. So let's just do real simple, basic fly. Let's just push this camera right through these guys. Okay, so keyframe, let me range. And I'm going to select my camera. Hit S to key. I've got my render cam selected over in my channel box. I'm going to select all my translate positions and hit S to key them. So that's all being keyed on frame 1. And then I'm going to move forward. We'll say frame 90.
No, I am curious. When we did that, though, we've got keys on all of the channels, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you for catching that.
Yes.
Let's step back through. That was wonderful that you're here for that. Thank you.
Woohoo!
So let me go back and undo. Let's try that again. So I did that wrong. I just hit S, which keys everything, which we don't want. So instead, I'll reselect my translate positions, right-click, and key selected. And then blammo, that keys just our translations. Fabulous. And we'll move forward to frame 90. Select my camera, push it forward. And let's see how we're looking. It might be a little slow.
While he's picking his location for the next one, Nina, this is the first time you've actually seen something animated in Maya.
This is correct.
Woohoo!
Yay, first for me.
And again, once you move your camera, if you've and that you move forward to a frame in the future, I'm on 90. So, right-click your translation and key selected. And then now I'm going to look through. It'll go kind of slow, but this is render cam for me. I'm going to look through that camera, rewind back to frame 1. Oh, and yes, we need to talk about playback. So inside of Maya, we can access our animation preferences. This little animation box right here. Punch that guy. Up will come. We have different playback speeds. Yours may be set to play every frame. If you're set to that, it can play very fast or very slow, depending on what's going on in your scene. But we would like to play real time, so go ahead and change that to 24 frames a second. Save it up, and we will. So here's our view. So that's a little, for me, that's a little fast, and our tangents are a little funky. So I'm going to, so a way to easily slow that down, we can select our keyframe. I'm holding down, there's lots of ways to do this, but I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag in the timeline. And that's selecting that keyframe and the other frames around it. And if I grab my arrow here in the middle, I can click and drag and move that over into the future. So I'm going to move it from 90 to, we'll go to, let's say 130. Let's see if that slows us down a little bit better. And 1, 2, 3, play. So we're getting some acceleration, but we are moving through at a slower pace. I'm going to drag it even further. Let's go to 300. So how can you guys give me some feedback on BuzzNet? Are you guys able to move cameras along and follow along, or choosing to listen? Whatever you'd like to do. How are things going for y'all?
We have yeses coming in. Yay.
Excellent. All right, let's see this pace again. Okay, this is a lot slower. That's very good.
Lots of yeps and yeses.
Okay. All right. So, if you'll notice, as this plays, it starts slow and accelerates. And so, what we would like is for this to be more of a constant push through and not have any acceleration. And so, one way to do that is to dive into our. I'm going blank on what it's called. My animation editor, the graph editor. So with our camera selected, if I hit F, so I just opened up the graph editor. Let me talk that through where I went to go get it. So inside of Maya, if we go to Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor, this opens up the graph editor, and as you can see, because I have the camera selected, the render cam is here. My translates, which have been keyed, are here. And if you mouse over into the graph editor portion of the window, which is screen right, and hit F, that should frame your animation. And then, just like when you're inside of Maya, you can typically navigate by holding down Alt or Command, whether you're on PC or Mac, and little dragging, we can move over. You can wheel. You can zoom in and out, zoom in and zoom out, just like you do inside of the our 3D windows inside of Maya. So what I would like to do is, go ahead, Nina.
Jonathan has a question. When you look through selected, then move the view around with the mouse, does that affect the camera? It doesn't seem to, should
yes. It? If you've keyed it, well, let's talk about that. So if I go back to my perspective camera, and this is an extra camera we'll be addressing in a minute. So this is my camera that I've animated. And if I push, so the question is, if I go select that camera and do look through selected, and then if I start moving, it will move the camera temporarily, but it's going to snap back into position because we have put keyframes on it.
That's right.
Now, if we have not put keyframes on it, it will literally move as you do that. And in fact, I could demonstrate. So and a way to see this happen is, so I've dragged my camera over to the left of my buildings here, and if I just step forward one frame, we should see that snap back onto the path that it was. So it's like it knows, oh, for me on frame 2, I'm actually back here, so it will snap back into place. So if you've keyed a camera and you move it around, it will just go right back to where it should, because you have keys on it when you change your frame. Now, let me look through a camera that is...
Which I'd like to add one thing to that, too.
Sure, go ahead.
Be real careful if you're relatively new to Maya and you're working in an auto key state and you've got keys down and you switch over to looking through the camera and start moving it all around, because you may end up screwing things up.
Yes. We haven't talked about turning on the auto key button yet, so I'm going to assume that hasn't happened, but we can talk about it.
Nobody's freaking out yet, so...
Okay, so... Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a camera that doesn't have any keyframes on it, and by contrast, if I go look through selected, and if I move it around, and it hasn't been keyed, so if I go and change frame numbers, nothing happens. It will sit there and it will move to where you tell it to. And then if I hop out of this camera, you can see that it indeed has moved. So there we go. Okay, so that was answering that question about look through selected. Hopefully that made sense. If that didn't make sense to whoever asked the question, please give me that feedback. Moving on back to the graph editor. So we're back to our camera. And let me just open the graph editor. So here is our animation curve of our camera moving. And so right now you can see it has these sort of ease in, ease out tangents on it where it starts off slow, and then as the slope increases, the camera moves faster, and then as the slope of this curve decreases, the camera moves slower. But we want it to be constant. So if inside of your graph editor, if you select, you can shift select to get both of your keys, and we can right click and go linear. And that should give us a straight line. So now, the difference in our camera movement, if I'll go back inside of that camera, and rewind and push play, and now we should be at a steady, constant pace without any increasing or decreasing in our speed. That makes sense? All right. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Let's let me show you how once you have made a camera, we can sort of capitalize on the fact that we have already animated that and get a second camera view out of it rather easily. So we're going to move this camera close to it. Okay. How does that look? Not here. Okay, so if you would like to follow along or just listen along, with this second camera, we're going to take it and we're going to put it right next to our first camera, and we're going to rotate it up 90 degrees. And this will give us, if you've seen a shot where it's like you're looking straight up at skyscrapers as your camera is moving through kind of a downtown city area. So a way we can utilize the keys that we've already created. Let's go to our outliner. So we go to Window, Outliner. We're going to take this render cam and let me call this vert for vertical. This is our vertical cam. This will be our, I won't call it anything else, but that's our horizontal camera, our first one. So if we take this vert cam and middle click on it and drag up to the render cam that's above us, that is parenting that camera. And then if you open up this, you can see that, okay, so camera vert has been parented to the render cam. So now, as we drag through our timeline, that camera will travel with our original camera. So let's go look through this camera that we've made, and let's see what's on our view, because we may see nothing, depending on how our lens is set up. So if I start at 0 and fly through, you can just barely see what's happening, and we're a little crooked. So let's clean that up real quick. Let's see if I can rotate it while looking through. So for me, because my stuff is a little bit crooked, I'm just manually rotating it in Y space. And now we're going to change our lens so that we can see more of our buildings. So right now, our focal length of this vert cam is set to 35. If I set it to 30, and take it down even further, let's go to 20. It'll feel like we're backing up. We're getting lower and lower. Or you could physically lower it as well. I'm just going to use the focal length to show you what this does. Okay. So now if we go back to the beginning, push play. And now we're going to have a camera that is like we're going through, like we're riding in a car looking out the sunroof as we're going through downtown. All right. Excellent, excellent. Real simple cameras, but getting the job done, moving at a pace that is professional and feels professional. All right, excellent. So we got two cameras done. Let's bust back out to our perspective camera, and we're going to now make a camera that can move on a path. But before I move on to that, any questions, anything that we need to address?
Yeah, how you guys out there doing? Everybody's nice and quiet right now.
I have to say, I'm enjoying watching this.
That's why I really want to get Nina involved with all of our live classes, watching them and helping to facilitate the questions and all, because this is the whole 3D Buzz world is new to her, and that means 3D, 2D, all of this stuff.
All of it.
So she's done set in on a couple of ZBrush classes now, and she's starting to hear terms that are going to bounce around between all these applications, of course, which is fantastic.
Polygons being one of them. I see them on the screen. I'm learning.
You are.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's make a path and that we'll be putting the camera on. So to do that, we will first, so I like to, there's multiple ways to go and create things inside of Maya. You can go to the Create tool up top at the window. I always like to go for the space bar. Create. We're going to do a CV curve tool. And we're going to, and just do several clicks, and you'll start seeing a curve appear. Okay. Excellent. And hitting Enter to close that out. And then I'm going to move that up, so we're somewhere around the height of the high end of our buildings. Okay, let's make another camera. Pull that out. Move those together. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that. I'll try to make this a little bigger. Okay, so now we have a path, an animation path, and a camera. Let me rotate the camera. So 90 degrees. Yes, not that will affect anything. Okay, so to attach our camera to a path, we need to first switch over to the animation mode of Maya. So in the top left corner, we've got this drop down, and you can also use your F keys 3, 4, 5 to switch between those. We'll go to animation, and let's see if I can remember the order. I'm going to select my path, shift select my camera, and go to I'm forgetting where it lives. Let's see, one moment. Here we go. So under the animation mode, with your path selected, shift select camera, go to animate, and there's a motion paths and attach to motion path. But don't click it, we want to click the option box next to it. And from here, we'll be able to pick some settings. So from here, if we look at if you can see where my mouse is circling, here's our coordinate system. And we have the Y is up in Maya, and X and Z are flat. So one of the questions this asks us is, which is your up axis? And for us, that is Y. And it's also asking, which is your front axis? And this one always takes me a couple of tries before we get it right. Let's try leaving it at X and see if that works. And let's punch attach and see what we get. And time range, time slider, yes. Attach. Okay, so that attached to my camera, but it is facing backwards. So let's undo. Do it again. Motion paths attached to motion path. Let's try Z with our up axis as Y. Oh, well, that's actually this. Oh, I could have done inverse front and set it to X and attach. And now our camera is looking towards the center now. So let's look through it. Let's see how off that is. Okay, sort of reasonable. Okay, so now we have our camera attached to our path, and let's look. Well, first let's just push play and see it move. So now we can see that that camera is on the path and moving, and it's somewhat facing the center. So that's putting our object on the path, and the keyframes that it dropped in, it automatically it shows, okay, your timeline is 300 frames. Then we're going to put it the first, it's going to start at frame 1, end at frame 300. And there's a way to very quickly edit these numbers. Is if you select, it's actually a selectable number, that 300. If you select that and hit Control A and go over to motion path, Control A, and right here under position marker shape, we can type in the time and change it from 300, and I could cut it in half to 150, for example, hopefully, and that will make it so we're going to get it out of the attribute editor. Now if I rewind, now it should be moving twice as fast, and at 150, it's already to the end. So that's a very quick and easy way to change that number. You can do that to both the beginning and the end.
We have a question. Is there
Sure.
a simple way to create a turntable-style camera system, or is it better to rotate the object and keep the camera static?
That's excellent that you bring that up. It is somewhat of a new feature inside of Maya that there is actually a turntable button. So I can do that right now. I think I'm already in my perspective camera, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, so since that question was asked, let's just dive right into that, and then we can come, and then let's see how we do on time. We can take a break, and then we can come back and continue. So let's say we wanted to, let me just make another object. Let's make a pyramid. So I'll make a pyramid, move it up, and over. Then I want to take my camera and just come give it a look. Okay, so if we hit F, if you don't already know, you can frame your object by hitting F, and you'll start moving around it reasonably. So let's say this was your character that you wanted to make a turntable of. So to quickly make a turntable, you can, with your the item that you want to go around, have it selected, and then we can go to, in animation mode, you can go to animate, and then here's a turntable button. We can hit the option box to give it a look, and we want to tell it how many frames do we want to spin this in. So 24 frames is just excuse me, that's 1 second. So maybe something we would want a time frame a little bit longer than that. I'll just punch in 90 frames, and if we when I hit the turntable button, it will both make a camera and put that camera on a circular path, and that turntable will last exactly 90 frames. So with the pyramid selected, looking through this camera, if I hit turntable, it should create a camera and have it ready to go for. So I'm going to punch that. So now I'm inside of a turntable camera. And if I set my timeline to 90 and hit return, excuse me. And when I push play, it should just loop perfectly around this guy.
Well, didn't they make things a lot more simple since the last time I used Maya?
Yes, lots of sort of simple tools have made its way into it's really handy.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So yeah, lots of I've had some other students that were unaware of this and spent lots of time setting things up, not knowing that you can just do that with a click.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me frowny faces because of that, but of course they loved it. All right, excellent. So yes, that is a quick way to make a turntable.
We have a couple questions about this. It said, would you otherwise have to move the pivot of the camera and rotate it around 360? That's one.
Let me go read. Is that
back in the day? I was just going to say back in the day, what I used to do is just take a NURB circle, drop it, snap it to the center of its pivot points in the center, snap that to the center of the object, scale the circle to the size I want, put a camera on it as a motion path, and set the target of the camera, snap to the center of the object. And then I could just control the circle to control the elevation on the camera.
Absolutely. And likewise, you do have the option of spinning your geometry if it's a character as opposed to an environment or something.
Absolutely.
You can have a camera be stationary and just animate the rotation of your object. Now that I was a little bit confused by that question, but maybe is it inside of our?
Let me do
questions?
this. Yeah, let me do this for you. You're going to see something
just to
new.
make sure I didn't miss anything.
All right, so boom, your little panel probably just changed, and the go-to meeting panel.
There we go.
And yeah, now there's questions.
Okay, very good. Now I can see. And is the most recent at the top?
The most recent's at the bottom.
All the red flags means they've been answered.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not seeing those. We'll have to look at that again.
And then the second question is by Robert.
Okay.
Okay. He says.
And is that the one that says so it creates the turntable around the pivot of the object? That sounds correct. And always uses. Hold on, let's see if I can read this.
Oh, and for those of you guys that are wondering what he's doing with the mouse, just to let you know, when we're viewing someone else's screen, no matter whose screen it is, we can't see their go-to meeting panel. So he's got his panel right there, just in case you're wondering, what's Paul doing with his mouse?
Okay, cool. I just moved that panel off screen so I won't be as distracting. So it creates a turntable around the pivot of the object and always uses the y-axis as up. Didn't see options for that. Yes, it defaults to that. It assumes that's what you want to do, because this button is specifically made for a turntable. Yeah, there are no options other than length and which direction you want to spin, because they're trying to dumb it down and make it so you can't break it. So yeah, good deal. Awesome. Okay. Well, if this is a good a time for you guys, is now a good time to break and take sort of a 5-minute break?
Sure.
Or whatever sort of standard?
That works great. If this is a good breaking point, let's go ahead and hit pause. We are now back from break. And so Jonathan had a question for you.
Yes. His question is, can you control the speed of the camera along the path, for example, if you want to speed up, slow down, or whatever, or rotate it, but still have the motion follow the curve? And the answer is yes. We'll start first with the option to twist it, so let me change my frame range on my scene. So yes, can we rotate while we're going along this curve? And yes, we can. Let's see which one does that. I would assume that would be side twist. Nope. Front twist. So yes, you can. Let's see if it will let me. Nope.
And
so
then
this currently the up twist, as my scene is set up, you would just need to see how yours is set up. Will let me rotate across, and you can keyframe this value. So I could with that selected, I can right click, key selected, and so on frame 168, it's at that angle. If I move forward, I can go negative 30, and it should be pointing off to the right, and key it, and so that twist, that rotation is happening with those keys.
Yep. And then to answer the other part of the question, as far as slowing down and speeding up while along the curve, just remember it's all a matter of going into the graph editor and just working with your curve.
Correct. That's one. You can go to the graph editor and edit, and I believe we also can. So the way that so right now if I zoom in, you can see a little better. My camera moves along this curve from frame 1 to 300, and that value is represented by going from 0 to 1. So when it's at 1, when we go to frame 300, this U value is 1. When we go back to frame 1, this U value is 0. And so you could, just like you can key these others, we can key this U value. So if I go to frame 140 here and decide, I'd really like it to be further along, I can increase that number, we'll say 0.6, so we'll move further along. And then with that selected, I can right click again and key selected and do it here. Likewise, you can do it in the graph editor as we talked about. So there it'll go a lot faster and then slow down.
Yeah,
so
and
if we play it,
that's true. I just want to, it's funny, because everybody has their own styles of the way they like to work. And when it comes to animation, I love seeing curves. It tells the whole story to me.
Absolutely. Great. Excellent. Okay, well we'll start now. I'm going to get out a camera with a camera and aim and show you guys an example of, say that a kind of a spaceship was flying, how we would keep that composition good by using this aim tool in our camera. And then from there, we'll move to a sort of a custom camera rig that I've got for you guys, a file that you can play with that's got a lot of controls and will give us camera movement like we see in feature films. Okay, so let's just make first. Let me take you guys to, under cameras we have camera and aim, and camera, aim, and up. And today we've used the regular camera, and we're going to talk about camera and aim. We're not going to get to camera and up. So camera and aim is, we've created it, is a camera with a look at constraint, a point constraint on this look at node here at the front. And so as this moves, so does the camera's aiming, where the camera aims. Okay, so that's how the camera and aim functions generally. And let me just make a quick box to represent the idea of a ship flying by. Okay, so if we had, we want this guy's key, and then move him forward. Let's move it back here, actually. I did that whole key everything at once again. So I'm going to just key the translation. So I'm going to move this object back, select my translates, key selected, move it forward. Whoops. Let's go to frame 200. Well, let's do 150 because we want it to go kind of fast. And move this forward and key again. Okay, and let's make sure see how that looks. That's fast enough for me. And we'll go ahead and let's go back to the graph editor again. Window animation editors, graph editor. If I hit F, that will frame this up. And I'm going to make this linear again. Minimize that. Okay, so now we got it moving along. I want it to move faster, so I'm going to move this keyframe in closer. Go faster. Maybe that'll be done. Okay, so let's get this. Get a hold of my camera. I'll move this so I can. Whoa. So one thing is if you select your camera and aim together, they should move. Well, I thought I was knowing what I was doing, but I'm not.
Yeah, those are the best times.
Yep. There we go. Got them both selected, and now they're moving together. Okay. Excuse me and my navigating here. There we go. Okay, let's get this. Let's get this point over to by our ship, and that will make it so that our camera is looking at it and just right now temporarily. So if I look through, well, we haven't named it yet. Select our camera. That's called camera 2. I'm going to call this cam ship to follow along with the ship. And before we do anything, I'm going to parent my. I'm going to go to Window, Outliner, and take this camera aim, and then this cube 5. Let's call it our ship. And I do this. Does that work? No. It's maybe. That might have just broken my camera. Let's see. Okay, now you can see. So what I did was, let me just pull it up again and say it out loud. I did it without talking, excuse me. So I took the camera aim and middle clicked on it and did a middle drag onto the ship, and that's the same as hitting P for parent inside of Maya. So when we do that, that makes this aim portion of the camera aim be parented to the ship, and as the ship goes, so goes your aim. Therefore, let me get closer on our camera. Then you can see that the camera aim goes along with the ship. Okay, so let's back up a little. And let's go looking through this guy and see how does that feel. So if I look through selected and push rewind, here we are, we're tracking that ship as it goes by, and we can see a little bit of the city. That was our 60, so let me change my frame range to that. Okay. So here we are, sort of tracking our ship. So it's a simple use of the camera and aim. And then something else you can do to add more, right now our composition is everything's perfectly centered. We can do things, let me switch back into my perspective camera. We can do things like take our aim, and if I can select it, window, outline, we can take our aim and we can do things like offset its translation in relation to this ship to help. So here at frame 1, I'm going to pull it forward, so that will put the ship to screen left. Let's see if this works. I'm going to say key selected. And then as we move forward in time, now that we're back here and we're looking back into our right, we want this to be to the screen left of the ship, so that then our ship will be screen right of our render. Is that too confusing, those words I'm using? Hopefully I'm making some sense. So by the time we get here, we'll want it to be screen left of the ship. So I will drag that over as I did, and then again, key selected. Okay, so let's rewind and see if that's working. So we're on frame 1. Our aim is to screen right of the ship. Drag forward, and now our aim is, as we're going through the middle of our animation, it's centered up on the ship, and then as we go past, now it's to screen left. So let's see if that stays in frame when we're looking through our camera. So if I rewind, we're looking at the front, and then we're looking at the back. So it's not perfect, but you can adjust that as you see fit, and I will adjust that just a little bit.
And while Paul's adjusting that, I will throw in there, that's the thing he's showing you right here is actually very important. A lot of people like to go in there and simply parent or constrain their target to the object that it's going to be tracking and just leave it like that. And that's, in fact, even getting into how you go about tracking it could become important in using other setups, like with constraints, only constraining particular axes and all, because if the object is wobbling up and down with some sort of vibration or something, you could get some really scary stuff going on from the camera's perspective. Mm-hmm. But what he's doing here, instead of having it a perfect track, you end up with a much more natural human feel by having this this speed up and lag in there from the target that it's tracking.
Exactly. Thank you for that word, Jason. Yeah. So our goal is, just as I was sort of trying to communicate at the beginning, is, we want our cameras to be professional, looking like a feature film camera, and this is essentially the kind of composition that you get from a frame that if you were watching on a feature film. And maybe mine's a little bit too far, screen right there. So I'll pull that back. Get a little closer. Yeah. Give it one last look.
And then after you take a look at that, if you want to show Jono something real quick, he asked over in BuzzNet, he said, may as well ask here, if I make a mistake keying, how would I go about unkeying it, basically, deleting out the keyframe?
Excellent. Sure, excellent, great question. So I'll do that on the screen right now. So I'll go to frame 30 here, and let me select my guy, move that over. Whoops, a little too far. Oh my goodness, it's run away. Okay, so I've moved it over. I'm going to key it, and all we want to know is how to get rid of the key. So one way is if you're zoomed in and you can get right on that key in your timeline, you can right-click delete. That's one place to do it. Also, in your graph editor, you can go. So let me frame that up. So we're in the graph editor, and this blue curve is the curve that is animated. Likewise, we could select these middle curves of the frame that I just added a key to, and you can right-click. Oh, I guess not right-click. We can hit delete on the keyboard though, and it will get rid of that key. So you can delete your key in your. I'll go ahead and undo that and bring that key back. You can delete your key from your timeline in your graph editor, or if you have multiple keys that you would like to delete, you can actually hold down Shift and click and drag in your timeline, and then if I was to right-click and delete, it would delete both of these keys that I have highlighted, that were highlighted on the front and the back. So you can delete multiple keys in your timeline as well.
Cool.
So I will we'll delete this guy and wait one more time. And hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, he said thanks.
Great, excellent. Okay, good. So that is animating a camera to follow. This could be used for a spaceship, a car, any object that's doing a flyby, a bird, whatever you want. Okay, great. And if no more questions on that, we'll move on to the next file that I have prepared for us. Let's leave this out.
I'm curious. I'm curious, real quick. I just want to try something. Is somebody over here in BuzzNet following along? Just give me a yes if you are. I'm curious about something. All right, sweet. Now let me see. let's
Got
see.
7 yeses.
Yep, I'm looking over here on the side. I need to come up with some way in the future to be able to peg down people real names to usernames. All right, for those of you that said yes, I have an idea. Over on your in your webinar system, raise your hand. Apologies for the quick interruption, but this is something that I may start working into a lot of classes. All right, Jonathan was up first. Make sure you guys only have Maya up on your screen. So let's see. Jonathan, I'm just curious real quick. I'm going to take a look at your screen. I want to see what you've done. You know, Hey, how's it going?
Nice.
All right.
Nice curve.
So, little curve weaving in through the whole thing. Are you there with us, Jonathan? I know you are. I can hear you. You just don't want to talk. Yes, it is. I can hear you typing.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Hey.
Hey, man. That was awesome. Okay, so show us what you got real quick.
Right. Well, I've got a little city thing and a camera that's in the wrong place, and another camera that I broke that was following the curve.
How'd you break it?
I think I just put a key in somehow. Maybe it kind of doesn't move anymore. I think I don't know what I did.
Just off the top of my head, it looks like you may have actually pressed S, where it would key everything, just because you have so many things keyed there.
Yeah, I've got too many windows open and try to type in Maya.
No, good deal.
So just a real quick thing to throw out, since you were asking about deleting keys. Like, if you don't mind me showing you this real quick, where you've got scale, like let's say from rotate X, Y, and Z and your scales. If you over in the channel box, if you highlight those names, like click on rotate X and drag straight down. Start with rotate X though. Yeah, and then drag straight down to visibility. Awesome. Now right-click on that selection, and then you should have delete selected. See if that'll actually kill out the keys. If you left-click on that, okay, that got rid of a whole lot of stuff. You can on the camera shape down at the bottom, you've got everything keyed in there as well. Okay, so because you asked the question just a second ago about deleting out keys, so that's another way of deleting out keys on an entire channel, which is handy to know.
Excellent.
And then, Paul, is there anything else that you might want to add? If I'm looking for just to see out of curiosity, because things like this, when you're getting into working with motion paths, things like this happens. So, I mean, it's good to take a look at, well, why did it break, so you'd know how to go about fixing it in the future.
Yeah, and this one I should know, but I honestly don't know. In general, animation is something I'm not terribly, like traditional animation, and inside of Maya, something I'm not terribly strong at. So when I'm looking at your translate and rotate, like his rotate X, Y, and Z went yellow after he did that delete key. So I'm not sure.
Highlight those three again.
Did that break his camera being on the path? And I do see. I see what's going on. So your camera is only animate. So if you look at in both ends of your path, I can't read the numbers, 104 and 1 something.
Does that say 180? Or does that 184? Ooh, that might be. Oh yeah.
So if your range.
Your range is you're ending right now at 180, but you tell it not to begin until it looks like 184.
104.
Is that 104 that it's starting?
I can't.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to see. But it looks like I thought it was one.
It was 104 and 180.
And 180?
Okay. It does look like though that delete key thing that we did just a moment ago may have goofed with his.
Okay. Do a couple Control Z's. Let's. Gotta love Control Z. Just a few more.
And then select your camera while you're, and let's see the status of it. So keep doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't worry about
until it selects it again. Sorry.
Yeah, keep undoing it until the undo select the camera again. There you go. Keep undoing, undoing. All right, we're close, and we're there.
Right there.
Okay, so yeah, kill out the scales down to visibility and all of the channels on the shape. Okay, now let's take a look at what's going on.
Now, if you scrub between 104 and 180, I assume it will move. Nope. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'd have to see that scene, I think.
Do me a favor, Jonathan, if you don't mind. Save that scene out and email it to me. Because even after class, I'd love to just get you. I just need to look at it real quick. It's kind of hard when you're not actually touching it. Oh, for Jason, best name ever. And then just email it to busbyj@3dbuzz.com, and I'll get you an answer. Just because I like students to know that when they end up in a bind, how do you fix it? Just makes things a little easier. All right, thank you very much, sir. Let's see.
Excellent.
All right, now, real quick, one more just to have some fun.
Yeah, do it. James.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let us see how things are going. He's like, oh, crap, I didn't know he was going to pick on me. Mr. James Hodges. Hello, sir.
How y'all doing?
Doing all right.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
All right, what you got, sir?
I just was working on that flyby, trying to get it the correct way, not just staying on it, so we can play it. If you see the left side, it should be playing my screen.
Yep.
Comes in.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Nicely done.
Yep. Very good.
I did have the coming around this corner here. If we look at the other camera.
Uh-huh.
When it comes around the corner, I was wondering, you get like this hard turn here that I don't like around the building. Just it didn't do a nice smooth curve. I think it's just better to do a curve with like a circle. Probably get rid of that, right? Instead of using a CV curve, make it a little smoother. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like just some sharp corners.
Yeah, if you have, I can see your path even from overhead. If you just select your path and look at your controls with it, whatever kind of line you've made there, and just adjust the shape of your path, then you should be able to smooth those out as you see fit. There you go.
Oh yeah, I can just click them all.
Yeah, tweak that out as you see fit, and then you should.
Yeah, no, you don't. You wouldn't need to go and just to put a circle in there. CV curves is perfectly fine. Though you do have an awful lot of points in that curve that's not needed. But yeah, you without a doubt, it's just a matter of getting comfortable working with the curve and realizing how close, especially if you're using a look at and you've got your target constrained to something, how close something or that target might be to what it's looking at when it's on a curve. If the curve gets really close to it, it could make some erratic, adjustments in rotation quickly. But here it's just a matter of, I would think, just I'd have a curve that had less points and then just smooth it out.
All right.
But yeah, all right, very cool, sweet. There's two of them there. All right, and I lied, guys. We're gonna look at one more. I'm sorry,
do it.
Just couldn't help it. All right, thanks, James.
Yep.
Yeah, he didn't sound happy. It's like, yeah, whatever. All right, so
Man.
Shane, surprise.
Looks good.
Dun dun dun.
It's like the old days at the Renaissance Center when I could take control of students' monitor or screens and put it up. It was awesome. Shane.
I don't have on my computer.
Oh, your hand was up. Oh, I know what it is. You're following along in your mind. I can't tap.
I have used a technique like this, though. I have used a technique like this.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, Shane. I do appreciate it. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and.
Thurston just raised a hand.
Oh, we've got one. Okay, so Thurston. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. So we'll take a look at his real quick. Oh, poor James is like, it's 5 a.m. here. Dedication, man. I love it. All right, we're waiting.
Thurston.
Hello? He's quickly hiding everything from his screen.
There we
Sorry,
go.
I have a dual screen, so I don't know which one to pop it onto.
Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, sir, what you got? Oh, cameras all over the place. Fantastic. Oh, James is out in Guam. Wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, wait. We saw Maya a second ago. Did it get minimized?
What do you see at the moment?
Looking out your output window, and I see BuzzNet in the background. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, drag that baby back over.
Yep.
Sweet.
There.
All right, now we see it.
Now we're cooking.
What you got? I'll help you out. So I see we've got look at being used. Good. You've got a path in there. And did you do the horizontal push and the vertical?
Which horizontal push?
Just push play.
Yeah, just hit play. We'll be able to tell which ones are moving. Oh yeah, good job.
Nice.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Yeah, excellent on the look at target as well with animating that. Okay, very good job. All right. Well, Paul, let's go ahead and switch back over to you, sir.
Let's do it.
Kaboom. Thank you guys very much. Yes, interaction with students. I love it.
That was excellent. Yes, definitely be needing to do that as we continue this class. That was excellent.
Ooh, camera rig. Look at that guy.
All right. So we got a big fancy camera rig going on.
Fancy schmancy.
I see that.
And my Maya is frozen.
No.
It's a feature.
There it goes. There it goes.
See, I told you it was just a feature.
Now we're back alive. All right. Well, this camera rig was made by someone else out on the internets. I will give that person credit when I post it to you guys. But just wanted to walk through some of the controls that we have here on this rig and how they can be used and how you can use them on your assignment, which I'll go ahead and give you now. Your homework assignment is to go peruse the web for inspiring video clips or pull them off of DVDs that you like and that you think have good camera moves on them, and then to very quickly model very simple geometry of those scenes, and then animate cameras that you are copying what was done in that nice camera move that you liked out of that film, whatever that is.
Can we make them, Paul, as part of the homework assignment, include a link and the times to like a YouTube video, whatever video that they're mimicking the camera from?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'd love to be able to see that too. Because that way you could really kind of, in grading the homework, you could see how well the student did it following the actual camera from the film. Sweet.
Absolutely. And even if I don't know if there's a room or a place for this for them to sort of submit, hey, these are the 3 I want to animate to, and I'd be happy to review them and be like, oh yeah, these are good. Or if one's ridiculous, oh no, don't do that one, or something like that. I'm up for that as well.
Awesome. Okay. What we could do for that is we can just have everybody just email stuff to Nina, and Nina can keep it all coordinated and work with you that way.
Because I could always email links to Paul.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
That just keeps your email from getting flooded with anything.
That sounds fabulous.
Awesome.
I like that. All right. Well, cool deal. Well, let me step through this camera, some of the controls that it has, and so that you guys will have access to this, and you can possibly use it for the homework assignment. All right. So to start off, there are a bunch of labels here on the camera, and once you learn them, if you do need to hide them, you can just go to the display layer, which is if you're in the channel box, you have access to the display, render, and anim tabs here. And under camera layer text, you can just uncheck and check the visibility. So that will first just kind of hide your labels. And so to start off, we have the base control, and that just moves the whole kit and caboodle, the whole camera. Next up, we have the, whoops, if I can select it well. Nope. So here's the truck movement that can go left, right. And we'll use something else for going front and back. I'll show you guys that here in a second. Okay. Next up, we have a dolly control, although it's, I guess, spelled wrong in that guy, where we can rotate. You can key this animation and get real nice movements.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And one thing that's great about this is your camera is always staying horizontal and aiming and looking at your camera aim all the time. So that's really great. So that's a dolly control. Let me just put that back to where it was.
Yeah, just the dolly control part of the rig there that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And then next after dolly control, we'll move to the boom control, and this lets us push out and back in again. And yeah, that's it. We'll go up as well. Nope, out and in. Okay.
Yeah, but I can see taking that out or animating that going out and then animating the dolly control. You could get some really nice epic sweeping moves over like large landscapes or cities, etc.
Absolutely. Real gorgeous moves there, for sure. Okay, next up we'll get in closer on the... Yeah, do give me a yell if I'm ever too far away from something that makes it too small on your monitors. Give me say, get closer. Okay, in our camera control, we can rotate. Oh, I don't have the... let's see. Let me first link these because I would like them to be linked together. It's on. Okay. Excuse me while I get it selected. Okay. So our camera control, we can rotate it. I'm expecting it to be working with the aim, and I'm not knowing why that's not working right. Something's goofy there. I will check that out. Yes, let me look at that one and get back to you. Moving on to the shake. I guess there's a shake control that this. And in fact, I'm aware that there is another way of shaking our camera. So if you have a shaky cam, I will point you to notes. If you're interested in doing a shaky cam, I will get you notes on that. But this shake is down here. Let's see. Oh, I think I just saw it. It disappeared. This right here.
That's
this
awesome
amplitude.
that you actually have the controls and then frequency and phase to go on top of it. That's really sweet.
Yep. So that you can shake your camera with this. There's also another way. There's like a built-in camera shake that comes with our cameras in Maya that we can tap into. That I won't show you today, but it's there. I'll get you guys notes on that. And then last up, if we have camera selected, I think I already checked it, but just to double check. So here, what is it? I just saw it a moment ago. There's a way to turn our aim on and off. You can ignore or not ignore the aim. I'm just losing it. Okay. So if we have our aim, my aim should be turned on, and as this moves, oh my goodness. Apologies for my technical difficulties. Just it's not there. Is it here? Just saw it. Where did it go? Well, I'm choking big time on that. I apologize. Let's move on. We'll come back to that. Maybe it'll come to me as we move along. Okay, so there are controls to make this camera look at this aim and to turn aim on and off. There's a Boolean toggle switch. When it's set to 0, it will be on. When it's set to 1, it will look at aim. When it's set to 0, it won't. Okay. So we have a track that our camera, this whole rig, can sort of slide along. So I can take this and extend it out and move it to the side. And then what will move our object along that position is this guy. Wow. must be having something blow up on me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It happens.
Goodness gracious.
Been there many
There we
times.
go.
Hey, awesome.
Okay. So you can drop down just like in real life if you've seen making ofs where they drop down what looks like miniature train tracks for your camera to go on a path. You can take these handles and adjust your path as you see fit, and then go grab our position, which is the circle, and when you move that, it will move our whole rig along that path. And so you can animate that along there. Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So that's stepping through this guy along with the camera work that we've done earlier, and I really don't have other than me resolving what's going on up here with the camera and aim. I'll be getting this file to you guys, and use it for your homework.
Okay. We'll
and get that stuff back to me.
Sweet. What we'll do is as soon as Nina gets this file from Paul when he works out the aim thing, we'll add it into the homework page so that you guys can grab it there and play with it. That's definitely cool. Mr. Complicated had a good question that came in over in BuzzNet that said the question is, how long can the track get without losing smoothness?
Good question. I know I haven't pushed this to the limit, but let's see. So you can start seeing jagged points there. So if I start moving it, back that down. Yeah, I assume just if that it could get bumpy if you make it too big, but I'm not aware of what the particular limit is, and I haven't bumped into that yet myself.
Well, Mr. Complicated, here's a good one for you. When you get a hold of this rig, play with it and let us know. Stretch it to its very limits.
Take it to the limits.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Okay. Any questions? I already laid out the homework assignment for you guys. Any more questions about this camera concept? And do spend some time doing this, because I'd like to see you execute this camera skill and sort of more professional looking cameras on our work as we move forward through the class.
Absolutely. It's always nice to have good looking work. So if there's any more questions, now's the time to throw them in. And for those of you that came in late, like Paul was explaining at the very beginning of this class, he wanted to have a section that was devoted to going over cameras. And then next week, we're going to start diving into the various simulation systems within Maya. But we want to make sure that you guys, when turning in homework or presenting stuff to other people, that you have nice camera work to go along with whatever sort of simulations you put together, so that it looks really nice. And that is important. That's a quick way to pinpoint an amateur is just looking at really crappy camera work. But there will be.
And I should suggest, Jason, if I'm going to chime in.
Yeah.
Don't do really long shots. Like we've been doing, short moves of, there's a ship moving by and we animate a camera for it. Keep them, 10 seconds, 15 seconds or less as far as your clips go, your shots that you want to do.
Right.
No need to do a minute clip or something like that.
Well, if you've never done this, you really want to entertain yourself. Pick anything, any movie clip that may be up on YouTube, or watch any movie, and instead of paying attention to what's actually going on in the movie, just pay attention to the cameras and count in your head the number of seconds before there's a camera switch. I think you're going to find yourself, if you've never paid attention to that before and you're not very familiar with camera composition when it comes to timing, I think you'll be surprised at just how often stuff is changing with the camera. It's pretty crazy. And then Jonathan just asked, what exactly do we need to send for the homework? Is it just going to be an MB file?
Oh, right. We need to talk about that. Let me go back to my previous scene. I'm glad that was asked. Thank you so very much. So what I would like you to do is to kick out a play blast. So let me cover that, how to make a play blast. So if we're doing, for example, our ship animation here that we have going, let me make sure that's still alive and well. Yep, okay, so here we have our ship moving, and if we want to play blast that out, we go inside of that camera, and we will go to Window, Play Blast, and there's Option Box. Yeah, bonus points for whoever thought to ask that. Thank you.
Yay, Jonathan.
And so for me, I'm on a Mac, so I have access to QuickTime to create a QuickTime movie. On a PC, you only have access to AVI, and you'll want to use the first, I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but on a PC, if your format is set to AVI, you want to pick this very top encoder. And then it should be okay to set your quality to 100 as long as it's not humongous. So me, I'll be doing like H.264 would be ideal. That's here for me. Right there. Okay, and we want it to play blast the time slider. So my time slider is set to all 58 seconds. Or you can punch start and end and tell it what frame to do from 1 to whatever frame you'd like it to end on. And you can also set the scale. So let's see, we're getting size. Okay, so right now it's getting the size that it's going to play blast from my current window. You can also tell it to read from your render settings. So for instance, if you have your render settings set to full HD and you wanted to just do half of that size, you can scale it to 0.5. I'll go ahead and leave it from my window settings. We'll go 0.75 so I'm going to have 3/4 size of my QuickTime will be 3/4 the size of this window when my animation happens. I'm going to push play blast. Oh, we need to tell it where to save the file. Send it to desktop class, and this will be play blast.
And then while that's
and play blast
rendering out, Mr. Complicated asked, so what happens if we have several shots that we want to do? Shall we merge the videos from then?
I'm fine if you submit 3 different QuickTimes. If they'll keep them small, so they'll be more portable. If that's okay, if that works for people.
So yeah, if you don't, I mean, I would assume if you're comfortable with Premiere or something, you want to put them together. That's fine. But
sure.
Yeah, if just like Paul said, if you want to just submit, Cam 1, Cam 2, Cam 3, that would be perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Robert asked, he does not have QuickTime as a format. Is it okay to choose AVI or IFF, or does he need to install QuickTime for this?
No, you can use AVI.
Yeah, I talked about that briefly. So if you're on a Windows machine, you'll have to choose AVI, and then there's a drop-down in the encoder settings. Let me pull that back up again. So here, where my format is set to QuickTime, on a PC, that will say AVI for you. You can either choose that or IFF, and you'll want to choose AVI. And then on this encoding setting, if you're on a Mac, choose H.264 because that'll make the smallest file for you. If you're on a PC, when you hit this drop down, whatever this first encoder is in the list up at the top is what I would recommend you using. You have 4 very random old codecs, so these are typically AVIs that are very large. If you have the know-how to re-encode and make it smaller so it's more portable, feel free to do that, but don't kill yourself.
Yeah, does somebody who's on a PC right now and have this up, if you want to check to see what that first setting is, you can put it over in BuzzNet. I can't get to Maya because, of course, we're recording and all that good stuff. But if you want to drop what it is over in the side, because I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Someone said the MS RLE, Microsoft RLE, and then I'm looking at BuzzNet, and then is it Jono UK? He said, I'm on a PC and I have a QuickTime option apparently, and I think that means you're on 2013. I think 2013 they incorporated QuickTime into Maya, I believe.
Gotcha.
So thankfully that's really a big help. And so just to show the results, now that I've made a play blast, now we have a QuickTime that we can play and watch happen. And so there you go. So that's how we would like you to turn in your content.
Awesome.
In the movie file.
And we'll put that information in the homework thread once again, and that'll be posted up here shortly. I'll get Nato and Nina to work together on that since Nato was here and heard everything as well. But are there any other questions? Oh yeah, just the key thing that we're looking for is to avoid the submission of a 1 gig 3-second file. Yes. And Mr. Complicated must have come in late. He said homework thread on member sponsor forum. It will be on the member sponsor forum, but remember the fast way to always find it is just go into the live classes calendar, and then from there just click on today's class, and you'll see the homework link. Just as soon as it gets posted, it gets linked from inside the calendar. That way you don't have to worry about sifting through forms and all. And when the new 3D Buzz website goes live, oh, it's going to be so different because you'll have a student dashboard and you'll be able to see all the classes you're enrolled in right there. You'll see all of your homeworks that have been submitted. You'll see your feedback. You'll see what's pending, what's passed, what's failed. It's going to make a huge difference in just the whole feel of these online classes. Can't wait to get it done.
Excellent. We are excited.
Yes, yeah, so am I. So, all right, guys. Well, no more questions. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up right here. As Paul had, I don't think it was said at the beginning of the class. I think it was right before we went live. Today's class is going to be your most relaxed class of the 6 weeks. Just going over the camera stuff as we start getting into the simulation systems. That's, well, as some of you may know from playing with them in the past, there's a lot of content to go over there, a lot of different things. So those classes are going to be more involved. But anyways, yeah, so that's going to wrap today up.
Excellent.
So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Paul. Outstanding job. And Nina will be talking with you here very, very shortly, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon at some point.
Sounds great.
Goodbye, everybody. You guys all have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.